What's up guys, Pass here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and today we are back with another subscriber request on my roster review series, and that is Count Dooku. Count Dooku was one of the Sith who underwent a rather, I won't say significant, but a notably enough change with the Sith Faciton Pass that it brought him back into a little bit better relevance. However, I don't think it really fixed his whole situation. Now, he is a fast Sith. He is one of the fastest Sith, and up until recently, he was one of the fastest characters in the game. In the original with the original build of the game, he was probably one of the fastest characters in the game. His base potency is outstanding. Again, probably one of the fastest base potencies in the game. However, his crit chance is lacking. He does not have a very high base critical chance, and so that is one area of improvement that I would definitely recommend if you have Count Dooku via mods. I do not have the best mod set on my Dooku. I was using him in another arena build or something. I don't even remember the last time I played with his mods was, but I don't have the best mods that I could on him. I would definitely recommend a crit chance set all the way. He definitely needs a lot more critical strike, and I would definitely, if you are going to put a triangle mod on him, put a crit damage mod on that triangle because you need that extra damage. His basic attack is Hindering Press. It deals physical damage to a target enemy with a 50% chance to attack again. That was unchanged in the Passover. These attacks have a 25% chance to stun for one turn and a 25% chance to inflict ability block for one turn. Debuff chances doubled against Jedi. This attack can't be countered. Now, one of the things they changed was the fact that now his debuff abilities have a chance to affect all characters, not just Jedi, which is nice, and that attack can't be countered, which is also really nice. Force Lightning is his special ability, and it deals special damage to a target enemy with a 50% chance to shock and stun them for one turn, and a 50% chance to stun a random enemy. Debuff chances doubled against Jedi. That means that a Jedi target will be stunned and shocked for one turn. Well, stunned or shocked, depending on if they resist one or both of those negative status effects, which is really, really nice. And the fact that you can stun and shock all targets is also very nice. Master Tactician is his leader ability, and this is completely unchanged from what it was prior to the Sith Faciton Pass. All allies gain 15% evasion and gain offense up for 2 turns whenever they evade. This was part of the evasion meta. Count Dooku and Old Ben were once upon a time the 2 most popular arena leads in the game, and that drove everybody nuts. Flawless Riposte is his unique, and this can receive the Zeta. Count Dooku has a 100% counter chance. In addition, whenever he attacks outside of his turn, he deals 30% more damage, has a 25% chance to gain 45% turn meter, recovers 10% protection, and gains critical hit immunity for 1 turn. That is with the Zeta. Now, without the Zeta on that ability, Count Dooku maintains his 100% counter chance, but he only deals 15% more damage and only has a 25% chance to gain 45% turn meter whenever he attacks outside of his turn. He no longer gets the protection gain, and he no longer gets the crit hit immunity. So that is definitely going to be a big improvement to making Count Dooku, who is a very squishy character, a lot more survivable. If you want to farm your Count Dooku, you can get him from Light Side 1C and Dark Side 1C, as well as Cantina Battle 6G, as in Gopher, Golf, and Galaxy of Heroes. Now, this is where I have my issues with Count Dooku. You can see that I have him at Gear 10. A lot of characters start to reach their full potential once you get them into Gear 10, because it unlocks some gear that gives them a little bit more of an advantage and really helps to fix some of the issues that the characters have or had at lower levels. As you just saw, running through all of the gear that he needs from gear 10 to get to gear 11, he increases his damage quite a bit with the stun cuff pieces and the other pieces that increase his physical and special damage. But then he also needs that piece of tank gear that gives him 36 strength. So that does help a little bit with the squishy factor. One of the ways you can kind of circumvent the squishy factor is to either run Sith or Darth Sidious under Emperor Palpatine, who gives Sith and Empire an extra little health boost, or you can run him under Darth Nihilus, where he will convert all of his protection into health and then gain a lot of health steal. That is one good way to increase your Darth Sidious survivability, because with all of those counterattacks, even without a Zeta, he's going to be getting a lot of health back, because he's getting, even without a Zeta on Darth Nihilus, you're going to be getting 100% health steal, which is really, really nice. The other character lead that will give Count Dooku a little bit of a boost is going to be Darth Sidious. If you run him over his true Sith Master, then you will probably see a little bit better performance out of your Count Dooku. Number one, because Darth Sidious's leader ability, and it only requires an Omega, will increase every Sith ally who strikes with a critical strike a 2% increase to their offense, which stacks every time they crit. So Count Dooku's rather lackluster offensive power will, 1, be accentuated by the fact that he will gain the bonus crit strike chance from Darth Sidious, plus the crit damage increase from Darth Sidious, and he will gain the offense bonus every time he crits. So that's another option for a good lead for Count Dooku. Unfortunately, the evasion meta is largely overshadowed by the Zeta Maul evasion meta, so unless you're running Zeta Maul, you're not going to see a whole lot of other evasion lead characters in the top 50, top 20 of most servers. Count Dooku's leader ability is pretty much outdated at this point, so I wouldn't really recommend running Count Dooku as your leader, because you're going to be laughed at as being 6 months behind the meta curve, so just keep that in mind. Otherwise, Count Dooku, unfortunately, I got really excited when the Sith Faction Pass happened, and we saw his abilities get that nice little boost to where he could actually stun and ability block all characters, not just Jedi. In fact, I threw him on my arena squad under a Zeta Darth Vader right after the Sith Faction Pass, because I loved Count Dooku. I mean, hell, I was one of the guys who gave in to the evasion meta and ran Count Dooku as my arena leader for a while. So I was excited to try him out, and unfortunately, while he was useful to a point, he unfortunately was not real good on defense. He's very squishy still, and even though I had Shore Trooper running top cover, as soon as Shore Trooper lost his taunt, Count Dooku was the victim of usually a 1-2 punch, especially if the attacking enemy had a Wig squad. With a good, strong Gear 10, Gear 11, Biggs or Wedge, well, Biggs and Wedge on the opposing team, if they get a good third ally to attack with that bonus, Count Dooku is done for. He's dead right there in the water, and I mean, all of his usefulness is pretty much rendered void at that point. Plus, right now with the Darth Maul evasion meta and Darth Maul being very, very prevalent inside arenas, you're looking at right there the biggest problem with Darth Maul and Count Dooku, and that is Daze. Daze completely erases about 50 to 75%, in my opinion, of the usefulness of Count Dooku. If he's not countering, Count Dooku is useless. Even without the Zeta on his unique, he's pretty useless, because his basic has a chance to ability block and stun his opponents. So anybody attacking with an AoE or attacking Count Dooku is facing the potential chance of getting stunned and ability blocked. So if Count Dooku is encountering, like I said, he's pretty much neutered. He's not very useful. So right now, unfortunately, I have to admit that Count Dooku's usefulness in-game right now with the current meta, the way that everything is shaped, you do not see Count Dooku very much and very often inside arenas right now. Does he have his usefulness outside of arenas? Yeah. I use him in Galactic Wars on my stun squad because he's useful. He's very useful in Galactic War. He has his applications. However, he's not going to be the character that putting on your squad, if you put him on your arena squad, is going to help you climb into the top 10. Not going to happen, unfortunately, because number one, like I said, days, and number two, he's very squishy, and right now we live in a world where critical strikes are hard, critical strikes hit fast, and characters die even faster. You don't need a Darth Nihilus to one-shot a Count Dooku. It's just the sad, unfortunate fact of life. And so with that, I kind of gotta say, go farm Count Dooku if you want him, because hey, he's a great character, and maybe eventually later on down the road, when Darth Maul isn't the king of arenas, Count Dooku may actually find his way onto some arena squads. But right now, as the meta is shaped, I don't see it happening. I don't see him being a game changer for your roster. I mean, I think he was my first Gear 10 character. So, Count Dooku is going to stay on my roster, obviously, because he ain't going anywhere. It's not like EA is going to come in and say, oh yeah, you gave a bad review on Count Dooku, so we're taking him away. Not going to happen. So, I like Count Dooku. He's got his applications, but right now, I can't really recommend that you go out and farm him because he's going to suck up a lot of resources. He's kind of a hard gear. I mean, he's not as hard as some characters, but he's going to require some pieces that you aren't going to want to give up if you're farming other characters up to Gear Max. So with that, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up my roster review here. Keep it kind of short, keep it kind of sweet, keep it kind of concise. So if you do appreciate my roster reviews, please give a like. Definitely share my roster reviews and let your friends know about them, because my goal here is to increase people's awareness of different characters and kind of steer people away from maybe sinking some resources into characters that wouldn't otherwise really help them out. I definitely try to get you guys the most current and up-to-date information, which is why I'm going back over some of these characters that I did roster reviews on previously, but those roster reviews are far outdated because I think some of my first roster reviews are almost a year old at this point. So the game has changed a lot, and I definitely like to give you guys the most information, or the best information that I can. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Check me out on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Join my Discord server if you'd like. And we can continue the conversation there. If you missed my last roster review video, it was over Darth Sidious. You can check out that video by clicking the annotation on screen that'll be showing up here in a sec. And I am going to be tackling Kylo Ren and Asajj Ventress. Those are two characters that I've already collected gameplay for, and I plan on getting those roster reviews out to you guys as soon as I can. As always, if you have any special requests, please let me know in the comments section below, and I will catch you all later.